Right, so going back to what I just showed you here, 240341. So that's Gina. Okay, that's Gina. That's one of the students. Her access username was gia.wang, and her password is j1345fs. All right, so when she logs into this, just like I did, mine's Carl, whatever it is, right? So for me to search for her job, I just go 240381. All right, so she did a house in Hanley Farms, Queenstown. Okay, so she's done the whole of the alpha filling out documentation, right? So what I showed you here and what I showed you in relation to your own, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a username, I'm going to give you a password, and then together as a group, we will make sure that you've got a developed alpha number. So just quickly, I can go here. So let's go back to home. You don't have to worry about this at all, okay? I'm just doing it for the purpose of explaining to you at the moment on what it might look like. So in this situation, you're entering a new application. So it's asking you, yep. All right, so it's asking me, it's entering a new application. So you see over on the right here, it's got this little number. That's the new application number. So whoever this job might be, they will have 240437. I can put in here and I can start doing the consent application and everything in relation to all of the stuff related to a new consent. But in your purpose and your circumstance, it will be an existing consent from eDocs. And so what happens is your application number will be 240347, 240437. Okay. So for the purpose of what I just did a second ago, let's go back 240381. All right. So basically it takes me back to Gina's old job that she did. So that's basically the same as what I showed you yesterday, which is the processing checklist, right? And the item and the one that's the most important for you is that vetting checklist, right? So you're needing to do these, that number there, that vetting sheet, you're needing to do probably about one job that will take you all the way to do processing till the end, but you'll need to do one other that you can choose yourself, right, for a residential, and then we will do one personally with you as a group. I will show you how to do personally one residential, how to do one commercial, and then you get to choose. There's two other commercial ones I'll get you to do, but don't panic about that. What I've done is I've set it up so it's not too stressful for you, but that will be later on. So let's go stop sharing. Cool. So what I wanted to double check was, let's go 2402. Yep. 503. So I've got my assessments on my screen here, and I'm just bringing them up. And I just wanted to, I thought now is the time to have the conversation with you about, firstly, I'm going to go to, here we go. Right. Now, so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to save that one that we did together as a group last week. So last week, so this is in relation to the assessment for this paper 401 that we're doing, which we will want you to deliver in the middle of December. Okay, so assessment 1 was, and so let me just see if I can get into Moodle. So Moodle, please, please, please. No, I see undefined. Let's go there, go there, go. I'll get that off. So assessments. So the assessment 1 scenario questions is what we were just discussing here. Here we go. Right, so we did the recordings, and I did a recording. So it was last Thursday, wasn't it? So let me have a look. What date was that? I'll come over here. Last Thursday was the 7th. So I'm looking for the 7th. So that's that one. So just out of interest, let's click on that. Okay.
Sorry, Kyle.
Yep.
I don't know if it's only to me or to other people. I went on Noodle, but it just said error. It say database connection failed.
It's not personal. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, is looking at the screen here. So I'm going to go BRE in class Takapuna, and I'm going to go scenario questions. Okay, and then I'll go tick. Now I'm going to go over here, and I should be able to download this. Why would you want to upload it? Anyway, I don't want to be quiet. Yeah, myself. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, download. All right. Okay, download. Okay, so here's the trick. Is these videos disappear in 3 months. Any video that you're seeing in Teams, they automatically get wiped. So you have to download them or upload and download them, and then upload them to OneDrive or to your personal situation. So just so as you know, you can refer to them. So in my situation, I've got my OneDrive, and I've got a BRE student conversation. So let's go, yep. And that was that. And I'm going to change that to scenario. SENA. Oh, okay. Video. So that, my suggestion for you in preparation for the first part of the assessment is to go back to that, use that video to look at the question answers. I have hidden from the computer the process, because I don't want you to actually keep going through the process. I've locked it until the day that we do it. I think it's unfair. I've given you one opportunity. I'm going to give you the videos. I'm going to share the video with you right now again. All right, so I share, and we'll go to the BRE in class Takapuna October. Okay, so that is that what I'm sending you is linked from the Teams site, but you can see the word here. You can download it, and so it can be sitting on your computer, or you can sit on your so if you look up here on the left hand side, you've got OneDrive. You can save it into your own OneDrive. You can save it onto your computer that you can click on and double check every now and again. All right, so there was 16 questions. All right, so that is my proposal for you to deal with the first part of the assessment. That's the first assessment, assessment 1. All right, so if we go back, so let's go back to here, get off there, and then we go back up here. Right, so as you can see, the word here, hidden from students. So there's another little trick I can do, and I'll show you, right? And I switch my role and I will become a student. Okay, so what you're seeing is what I'm seeing. All right, so you've got no way that you can actually click on anything to access that scenario exercise until I'm ready. And it's unfair. You need to do your work and have a look at how we answered the questions, the videos, and that will prepare you. All right, no problems. And so there's the assessment 2, and I just wanted to talk about assessment 2 and show you what that looks like. Okay. Now you are that one there, so that with the 10 in front of it, because 10 is October. Okay, so I'm going to change my function back to, right, and so I should be able to click on that, and so part of the assessment has this conversation about you doing a voiceover on a PowerPoint. Okay, so if we go back to, let's see, this screen here, on here is these little buttons. So you can see that this screen here, see here, you have access to PowerPoint in your Future Skills platform, right? So you have access to PowerPoint just like anybody else. Okay. So, and actually, I mean, I won't risk it because I'm scared I'm going to lose it. So I personally don't like, I mean, you can do the voiceover on your PowerPoint if you want to, but what it does is it increases the size of the PowerPoint, and it really makes it really difficult for you sometimes to upload to Moodle. And when you multiply not only the students that you are, but then you've got all of the diploma students, we've got the degree students. So what happens is it actually bogs up our Moodle. So my preferred thing is that when you are doing a PowerPoint design or something, let's just show you what PowerPoint looks like. So there's PowerPoint. Let's go blank presentation. Okay, so you see down here, it's got that word notes. So you go add notes. I'm a big believer in just basically on this PowerPoint, I talked about the issue of the building code. And that's, I mean, obviously, there's probably a little bit more that you can do in that. Now, the proposal, of course, is that then they say you could add in voice. So over here, you got the ability to add in voice. And so what happens is it ends up in here. And it's all very good, but the reality is it bogs everything down. Right, whereas you could say the same thing down here. Okay, so that's the concept of what they're trying to say there. let's now go back to here. So let's go back, and so let's go back out of here, just so as you know where we were. On 401, I went to assessments. I clicked on assessment 2, click on that button there, and it opens it up. And then you click on that there. You could do a you can do it, click there, and then you scroll down, and there it is there. That's the assessment, right? So let's have a look at that and see what it says. Open. Oops, opening over on my left-hand screen. Give me a second. I will. Right. Okay, so assessment. Your name, your last name. Don't worry about that. Okay, that's okay. We know who you are. And in this situation, signing, I always just go draw. And once you've saved it, it's enabled, then you can just press on that button and just draw your signature. Okay. There's policies and academic procedures and so on that relate, which are in the handbook and so on. I'm not going to go into it in any great way. And I fill out this, and I use this as a guidance to be able to mark from. And so that's where this is the thing called a marking matrix down below here. So this is the thing that guides you. What's the least mark that you'll get versus if what you did was perfect. All right. So that's the difference between. And so out of that, it's a total of 10 marks. Out of that one there, it's a total of 10. And out of that one, it's a total of 15. Okay, so worst to the best. Okay, so describe the quality management system, and it's relevant to the legislation in the summary of quality management statement, right? So down here, looking on the screen, there is that thing called the Patrick and Peter Council, which basically we've been talking about in the last couple of days. Right, so what you're looking at on the screen is the concept of what a quality management system is. And so it actually explains it here for you. So you're able to have a read of this about what they explain it is to do. And it talks about essentially, the 19 different regulations. All right, so coming down to this page here, so there is I don't necessarily like this one. This is the one I was playing around with. You might be better to use the PDF one that I sent you that's sitting in our files tab. So let's just go to the files tab just to show you. Here's the Teams. Because yeah, I don't want to freak you out. So there's the files tab. Okay, and then there's the class materials. And then there's the Go You Good Thing manual. All right. So what you're looking at here is the same as what you're looking at there. Same thing. Difference is it's formatted slightly different. That's all. Okay. That's what Patrick originally done back in 2021. I played around with this one. Got a few more colors into it, but as I'm scrolling through here, I'm having difficulty finding the actual the context that I've created at the start of this year. So don't freak out. It's it's this thing here is the same as this thing here. So you've always got access to it. So don't freak out about that. Just while we're on the subject, someone asked the question of the satisfied on reasonable ground PowerPoint. I just put that in here last night for you at 5 o'clock. So if you wanted to have a look back at that PowerPoint. But let's get back to our task in hand. So PowerPoint, go back up to here. Sorry, it's forced me to, I'll open that. Here we go. I am back there. Damn it. Okay, that's fine. We're back where we want to be, I think. You can see me? Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's get a move on. The first part, this part here, is really about that book. Okay, the first question is about the book. The book and its what describe a quality management system used by your organization. You work for the Patrick and Peter Council, okay, and the Patrick and Peter Council uses that file, that book, based on the building regulations, accreditation regulations, okay, and it is used for the purpose of guiding and making sure that all councils do the same task. Okay, so as we've shown you over the last couple of days, and have a look at that when you get a spare moment, have a read of basically what goes on with that function, just to get your head around what it's about. Okay, so that's what that's about. Okay, all right, so complete coverage of the relevance of the quality management system to legislation with no errors. The quality management system statement is summarized in their own words in relation to the organization. So introduction, the statement of change. Let's have a look. Really, I mean, what they're talking about is, so on the screen here, there's the book, overview of the quality management system, the building consent functions, TA functions. This is a statement here, structure of the building services. The council was brought about the adoption of an online end-to-end building consent system chain, and essentially this page here really is what we're talking about from the perspective of the statement. So what does that actually say? And you put all of that into your own words, and you don't need that many words. And really, you would be putting that, and you could put that onto a PowerPoint. Just sort of, and remembering that, I'll go back to my PowerPoint somehow. Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to have many words on the PowerPoint, but on the notes you can put words, but you don't have to have all those words. You'd just be putting a few paragraphs, basically condensing the information about what that looks like, why it's there. Okay, that's what that's the what's really going on in relation to that question. All right. So the second part of the question is your role as an employee. Now, this is why I made the effort to discuss with you as students what the function. So if I go, so I'll go back over to here. This is why I like having something that's got the PDF in it, so you can see the regulations written here. So, and you've got 125 pages. I don't want to be going to scroll through 125 pages. So I'm going to go to, so remember you were regulation 7, right? 2, B, C, D, and I, receiving, checking, and entering building consent applications. All right. So there's a whole lot of different things that go on here, as I've said to you. You're not inspecting work. You're not processing work. Your function is receiving, checking, and entering. So that is it. That's the beginning and the end of your role. Okay. What you're looking at on the screen is what you have to articulate, you have to write as notes to support a couple of PowerPoint screens. So we're talking, I think we're talking about possibility of 8 to 10 slides, right? So you've got 3 questions. So split up the PowerPoints, and you might, out of that 10, you might have 11 or 12, because you might have a front PowerPoint. But this one here, the quality management system, you could go, and this is what students have done in the past, is, I'll just show you, give me a second, a little bit more, here we go. Right, is cut and paste. So there. Okay. So, and I'll go and start a PowerPoint. Let's go here. Okay, so let's just, I'll go insert. Okay, so that slide there, I want to get rid of. So this, I just took a photo. I just cut and paste something, like see there. So that there is my quality management system at the council. Okay, so obviously you can centralize that, but there it is there. So that's a picture of it. And then in the notes, that's where you would write about what you've learnt in the start of the documentations. So I'll increase that there. So coming back over to here, so I said to you, there's the introduction, that's the structure of the building. So that first page really talks about what it's all about, even if you have a squiz at a look at the other items. But that first bunch there really explains to you the introduction of the concept of a quality management system. So you might want to, write down here, my interpretation of the QMS is it maintains structure. It's designed to make sure that the whole of New Zealand basically does the same job when it comes to council. All right, so then you could make that a cover page. That's the first page, and you make this one, and then you could go to insert a new slide. So then in this, you're still talking about quality management system. You could then basically find another photo or a picture or something like that might be attractive. I don't know, whatever, something like that. But it might be associated with the first part of the question. So that's the idea there. So we're on to the second part, your role as an administrator at the council. So that's question 2. So then maybe you would have another slide. So in this slide here, my role as a staff member, or it could be as a vetting staff member, or whatever that might be. Okay. And that's when essentially you could go, I don't know, like you can go insert up here and you can insert pictures from, let's go stock images. Okay, and then you go, so we'll go that looks good there. So let's go there. That's a very stressed staff member. Okay, there, hair cutting. Okay. All right, so my role as a staff member, how about that? Something like that, right? And then down here, you answer the situation, you answer the question. How do you answer the question? Come back to here, go to regulation 7.2b, C and D, receiving, checking and entering. Have a read of that regulation and it to the bottom here, and it will explain to you what you're supposed to be doing for your job. Okay, so then you would in it you would now this is not naughty. Okay, I'm going to show you something, and I don't have an issue with it. Okay, copy. It's just so up here. Okay, ChatGPT, you've probably heard of it. Okay, define my role from the following procedures in a short 3 paragraphs. Okay, paste, go. So there's stuff in there that you guys don't even know about. I've talked to you once about, and that's ChatGPT. All right. So let's go here, and then I'm going back to my PowerPoint, and now you can read it and check it, but really what you're actually just seeing there is pretty much that's what I want. That information there. In your role, you oversee and ensure that the building consent applications are received, checked, and entered into the system in line with regulatory standards and meeting the Building Consent Authority requirements. This involves overseeing the intake of applications, where you ensure the statutory time frame is either at submission or when all vetting issues are resolved. Part of your role here includes ensuring applicants are informed promptly regarding the acceptance or the rejection of the status of their application. Thus maintaining transparency and adherence to timelines. In application checking phase, your conduct or thorough quantitative review to confirm that each application is complete and can accurately be processed within the BCA system. This check includes ensuring all documentation, including drawing specifications, are submitted correctly in an acceptable format to avoid delays. You may also advise on the need for pre-application meetings for your complex consents. So the National Competency Assessment System, NCAS, Commercial 2 and Commercial 3, Residential 1, Residential 2 and Residential 3 are unique, have unique project matters that need to be addressed up front to streamline the formal application process. So I read it yesterday, within basically the Patrick and Peter Council, you just don't automatically accept the commercial jobs. You basically stop and you have a pre-application meeting for the client, and you essentially are there to make sure nothing actually goes wrong. All right. Okay. Finally, the data entry phase, your role includes entering the applications, assigning an ID number, officially acknowledging each one, and then this step confirms that all applications are tracked accurately through the system, ensuring complex compliance with the regulatory obligations and promoting efficient processing. You also monitor rejections, particularly when minor variations do not align with the digital submission, redirecting these for on-site handling as per your guidance from MB. I mean, that's pretty intense, but that's pretty much exactly what the sort of thing that we'd be looking at. So I used that ChatGPT to articulate it. You can reword that however you want, basically, but that's your function. What I would like to see is you should be making an effort to, so this thing here hasn't actually aligned back to where that came from, regulation. I would like to see that type of wording there, regulation 7. So you're making an effort to point to me or to whoever that might be marking this, that you know actually that this in the regulations is the beginning and the end of your function. All right. Regulation B, regulation 72C, 72DI. All right. Very specific, because I can go to other councils and to other documentation and it'll have the same number, the same letter. All right. So it's not going to freak you out as a possible staff member if you ended up working in a council, because you're going to know, basically, you're going to have to. So, right. So, yep. So, and interesting. Yes. So just, that's an option for you. And I don't have any issues with it if it makes it easier for you. I use it for my own graduate diploma to be able to actually help my mind. So what it does, so a lot of people have no issues with their mind in the sense of getting order, but for me, I need to have something to help me get structured. All right, so that's why I tend to use it. All right, so let's get rid of that. Okay. So as you can see, so when you come back to this scenario here, so I would say that would be appropriate for that, and then you go duplicate, go to the next slide. So now essentially you're going to go what's the next question, and that is here. So you've answered that. What's the role? What's your role? And you've gone to the building regulation documentation, the Go You Good Thing book, to help you, guide you with that. Okay, and then you've got a third component. Okay, and so examples to demonstrate compliance with the provide examples from your workplace as an administrator employee in the topics below to demonstrate compliance. Right. So you, as students at the moment, have not been allocated. So we go to this. Now I just talk to you. These students here, looking on the screen, who are from the last class, they've been allocated a job, right? They actually had an address. So if we go to, here she is, there. Okay, let's go back and let's go to, it was 240381. Okay, 240381, and her one, I actually don't know. That's no good to me. So what I might do is I'll do, I'll go to eDocs. So each one of you is going to have a consent. By the time you get to fill this out, which is the middle of December, all right, so it'll be, I'm looking at my calendar now, it's going to be 2 weeks from required submission, which was the 22nd of November, the 29th of November. It's going to be the 6th of December that you'll need to submit, right? So between now and the next few weeks, I want to expose you to your job in Alpha. Find a job in eDocs. So watching the screen and remembering this is being recorded, all right? So, okay, eDocs, I go down, I have eDocs in here. Now here's a little trick. You probably already know this, all right? See the button there? Right now, this is what you're looking at as at the moment on that screen. On the screen this is a Google one, right? This is a Google thing. So a lot of what we do at Future Skills is a Microsoft's platform. Okay, so you might have a Microsoft, but the principle is the same, in the sense that if I choose to go to eDocs here, and I don't know whether I'm connected through here, but anyway, the principle is the same. Now I'm in a Microsoft platform, all right, because you can see the way that's laid out. So in the eDocs Queenstown Lakes, I can click on this button here, and I can add the page to my favorites bar, or to basically I'm wanting to add it to the bookmark, the bar, right? Up here. No, I've done it. Okay, it's already happened. So cancel. So it's happened. All right. So same principle, right? But in essence, you can always come back to it. Click, done. All right. I know you guys are all very okay to understand that. And then there's now I've clicked out and I'm now in my Google world. Okay. All right. So let's go here, log in, right? So, and this is the one that you as students need to do using your personal email, right? It's not a Future Skills email. This is personal, whatever your personal email is. Okay. Now, remembering we've been showing you 9 Fellow Street, and I'm wanting to show you how to answer question 3 of the assessment, right? So if you think about question 3, if we come back to it, okay, you're looking at the screen. It's no good for you because you don't work at a council. You can't answer this. Applying for or vetting a building consent application, you don't do that as a job, right? So as from an in-class perspective, from a student that doesn't work at a council, we've given you access to eDocs, Queenstown Lakes, and you can actually access, for example, applying for or vetting for a building consent application. So let's go for applying for, and I think all of you know that when you apply for a building consent, you're using the Form 2 regulated document called the building application and project information document. So watching the screen, I change that, put it over here for the moment. I'm going to go into the council site, and I'm going to go to its logical application and processing. Now, remembering you guys can choose whatever job you want. All right, in Queenstown Lakes, try and choose Jack's Point because it's modern. 2019, 2020, it's going to be 3 years old. Same language, same information, same look. I'm not having to repeat myself when I'm having to teach you. You guys can all see the same look, right? Building consent application. Okay, so go up. So I don't want you to use the whole building consent application, but my proposal is and students have done this in the past, and that is snipping that there. Okay, and then, right, so, okay, and you go here. So you can get rid of all of that. Okay. So let's go here. I wonder if I can just drop it in there and see what happens. There it is there. Okay, sweet. So I just reduce it. Oh, so you can be a bit flash. That one there. That one there. What's happened there? Okay, no. What about that one there? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I just reduced that. It looks crazy. Nobody can see it. But yeah, so the point I'm making here is that you just drop that in. So that's that job there. And you can make it a bit more attractive, and you could make it a little bit bigger so you can probably see it. But then come down here, I've got the word notes, right? And I can go notes, and I can write in notes. This is the application form 2, and then it'd be wise if you ended up defining essentially as per the building forms regulations of 2004. Okay, because that's the actual full name for the building regulations. So you're treating me like I'm from Mars. I've never heard of any of this. So that's the trick. Always imagine that you're teaching someone who's never come across this before. So that's your also, so that I would be, mate, it's up to you guys whether you can put it on here, and then so insert, and you can go text, drop it in there and go question 3, and then essentially I suppose it's A, is it? Let's have a look. Question 3A. Yep, that's right. So as you can see there, question 3A, applying for or vetting a building consent. So that's applying for, but you could also put in the vetting check sheet. So you watch this. So I'm going to teach you how to do the vetting, but I've got to find it first. Oh, that's right. I used Google tonight. There it is. Cool. Okay. So come back to here. So the vetting check sheet, that's the vetting check sheet. All right. So I just showed you the building consent application. That's the form 2, building consent regulations. That there is the granting or the check sheet for the vetting, right? So a different document. But essentially what's happening is the vetting staff member basically uses this document, and they check this document for compliance to, whether everything's correct, whether they've done everything correctly, right? So going back to the wording in the assessment, you got 2 options. You could do the applying for a building consent, form 2, or you could actually use the vetting checklist from the council as well. It's up to you guys. All right, so one or the other. Remember, not both. Okay, that's important, that little word there, or. Okay. Right, so then, so you can see I was able, so essentially that's question 3A. All right, and then you've got duplicate the slide, and you've got the next question. So again, I think it's pretty simple. This next question is about the issuing of the building consent. Right, so the issuing of a building consent is a thing called Form 5, issuing of a building consent or starting construction. Right, I don't believe any of you in the room are involved in starting construction. So logic is that you will answer this by saying, going to a circumstance, provide examples from your workplace on the process of issuing a building consent. Okay, same deal again. Come to your job that you've chosen for alpha and go to issued. So you go down to issued, and there's the word issued. All right, so let me double check that. I think it's that one. We'll just have a look. What we'd be looking for is the Form 5, because it's a regulated document. Form 5. There it is there. Form 5. Okay, as per the Building Forms Regulations of 2004. All right, so how do you, for example, answer this? Again, same principle. I get my little snip tool down here, and I snip it and go here, and just make it probably a bit nicer with the Queenstown Lakes branding, but anyway, don't matter. Right, so then snip it. I've created a new PowerPoint, right? And I'm going to go and drop in paste. Okay, so that's basically the this is the Form 5 application. So the interesting point, and I think you should be doing the same wording here, where it talks about application Form 2 as per the building regulations. You could go a step further, and you could go as per the Building Act, right? So when we look at this document here, so let's go back to it. It's got a couple of references there in relation to the Building Act. I think it might be section 45, but you need to look at that. So you would put that section, put Building Act 2004, and then section whatever it might be. I think it was 45 and 31. And then this one here is the same detail, but it's Form 5 as per the Building Accreditation Regulations and the Building Act 2004, Section 51. All right, because what you're doing is you're linking it back to the building code. You're linking it back to essentially your understanding of how it all works. All right, and of course, I would like to see you explain a little bit. Give me a paragraph, a little bit of information about actually what that's about. All right, so that would be, I think, a fair assessment, a fair thing for you to do as students. Okay, and then, so let's go duplicate again, right? And so we're going to change that, delete, and we're going to put in a new slide. And basically the last question is one other example of your work, such as a code compliance certificate that supports compliance, or another administrative service that supports compliance to the building code. So there's another thing, the other thing that you can do, which is quite a smart, so code compliance certificate would follow the same format that we've done here. All right, so what I mean is you would cut and paste the actual picture of the application for code compliance, and then essentially the certificate of code compliance. So it's two different functions. So give me a sec, see if I can find it. Yeah, there. All right, so let's get out of here. So let's get this thing out of my way. Come on, you dog. Get over there. All right. So application, no. Building consent application, no. That, no. So come down here, issued. So it's always in this thing called post approval. The code compliance is post approval. So application started the job, inspections obviously is inspecting the job. So there's photos and everything. Issued is essentially once the application has been issued, ready. So really, to be fair, inspections should be after issued, but they're not. But don't panic. All right, if you're looking for the code compliance certificate, it's actually in the post approval. All right, after the job's finished. Right, so you have a couple of options. You have there's the application for the CCC received. There's the actual application. So that should be a Form 6, I think. Right, so the application of Form 6. Okay, so there's nothing stopping you just reducing that down and then essentially doing exactly like we've done before. Okay, and then just going like so. Right, and then putting that in here. Okay, so then the application for code compliance, and then Form 7 is the certificate of the code compliance certificate. So then again, so you could start with the same information. This is the Form 6 application as per the building forms regulations of 2006. Is it 2006? No, 2004 actually, I think. I can't remember. It's, yep, it's regulations of 2004. And basically, yeah, so you can just explain something about that. So in essence, I don't think there's a specific, let's just go back there. It doesn't, oh, there it is there, Section 92 of the Building Act. There it is there, Section 92. All right. Okay, and then there is, so they're asking you here, one other example, all right, such as a code compliance certificate, right? So, or another administrative that supports compliance. So something that I think is a question that you might get from memory in another of the assessments is show evidence of an RFI, or show evidence of correspondence or a debate. So let's just have a look here. You see that word "corro" out? That's also why I like the modern versions of what's going on. Correspondence out, okay? Correspondence out. So you can go correspondence out. There's conversations going on with the client. Correspondence in. correspondence out. So what's happening is the client is referring to RFIs or questions that are going on. So that's basically what. And so what one of the assessments asks you is what sort of conversations went on in relation to your assessment, and you only have to choose one, and then talk about it. So just bear that in mind. But for the purpose of what we're doing and you're doing for this assessment, you really just have to show that one example of your work, and that's code compliance certificate, right? So actually, it's an interesting point. Code compliance certificate is Form 7. You've actually put a Form 6 in, so you sort of could be smart and do what I did, but then you could actually find the document, the actual code compliance certificate. So sometimes, so there's the application, final approved, correspondence. So I wonder if it's that. Yep, Form 7, Section 95. Okay, so let's just reduce that down. What you can do to answer both the components of really this question, because they're saying give us evidence of the code compliance certificate, but it would be wise if you had evidence of the application for the code compliance certificate and then essentially the code compliance certificate. So if we go like that, like so, and then we come back to here, you could actually paste it onto here. So you've actually got two documents. You got the Form 7 and you got the Form 6. All right, so yeah, something like that. Got those choices over on the right. But the point being is then you could actually go, that's there, and therefore the Form 7 document that aligns with Section 95 of the Building Act is the required evidence that the build complies to the NZ building code, something like that, right? So you're not getting too deep on it. Now, the other little tricky thing you could do is for each one of these items that they're talking about. So, for example, the application for it, the Form 5, the Form 2, and the other ones at the end here, they have reference also in the Peter and Patrick. How does your council deal with these documents? All right, so what you can do is you go up to the top here and you have a look through, and you can go code compliance certificates, right? Regulation 72F. So let's just go back down to here. So you not only got the Form 6 application, the Form 7 application, you've got an alignment with Section 95, and then I think this one's Section 91. You have also got an alignment with this function aligns with the building accreditation regs 7. What? Code compliance 72F. Right? So I could click on it, and that could give me a big broad conversation about what actually the council that you work for does in relation to the code compliance certificates. It actually explains everything for you, all right, and how it goes about it. So that could increase, have a read of that, have a look at that, and it'll help you with your knowledge on answering basically that one there. And so go to the next one. This is the application Form 5. Form 5 document. What is that about? Come back to here and then come to here. Form 5 is about basically issuing a building consent. So inside here, granting, issuing, extending, and refusing building consents. So regulation 7.2D5, okay, that's basically the crux of everything that goes on here. So you can have a read of that, and that's how you end up answering this. So essentially, you also should refer to your regulations, the regulation, the building regs, Reg 7. So you'll notice that all of the regulations 7, they're all sit in the 7 because regulation 7 is about the functioning of a council. So all of the different roles. So 7.2D, okay, so let's go back to here, 7.2DV, all right. Okay, so that would just add a little bit of professionalism to your answer. It'll give you a bit more depth, width, right? And again, same deal, Form 2. So I should be able to go back to here and I should go, that's the granting and the issuing of a consent. So that's not the right answer. So let's go back to the top. I always like to go to that just because I'm lazy. Right. And then it's processing. All right. You guys aren't doing, what you're talking about is not that, because you've actually already discussed that. Now we're talking about the processing. So that's 7.2D4. Okay. So processing. So come back down to here and then refer also to Reg 7.2D, I don't know what it was, 1V, I think something like that. But and that is to do with assessing and processing of a building consent. All right, so that's why it's the Form 2. So you get the Form 2, you assess it, you check it, you give basically the Form 5 to start the job. Once the job's finished, you give them the Form 7, which is proof that the job exists. All right, cool. I think so. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the answer. That's how you go about answering that assessment. All right. And then so you can see down here how I've it's question 3A, question 3, and so from the perspective of us marking it, the way you do this, it makes it a lot more. It's a lot easier, right? So you got seven PowerPoints. If you wanted to, you could extend it. You could make another PowerPoint here. Duplicate that. So in essence, that's so this one here. You get rid of, so that one. I think that's get rid of that one, and then this one here's got 2. So right, that one there can be that subject. And this one here now includes the Form 7 subject, right? So whatever. So that's 7. I mean, that's fine. It's, if you want to do more, that's cool. Oh, what have I just done? Control Z. Yeah. So 8. Here we go. So that's the type of thing you're looking at, and that could be the start, your beginning. Right. Any questions? Think about it. I know you've got questions.
Yeah, maybe, but I still try figure out what you're just talking about.
Okay, so what I'll do now is I turn the video off, turn the recording off, sorry. Stop.